They said billionaires had everything: power, fame, and control. But when Adrian Cole, the cold, untouchable CEO of Cole Enterprises, pretended to fall asleep one quiet night just to test the shy maid who cleaned his mansion, he never expected that a simple act of kindness would break the walls he'd built for years. What she did while she thought he was asleep left him frozen and changed everything. Now, the question is, can a man who trusts no one learn to open his heart to someone who has nothing? Stay till the end, because this story isn't just about wealth or romance, it's about what happens when two broken souls finally see each other for who they truly are. Chapter 1: The Man Who Never Smiled. The mansion at the edge of Silvercrest Hill stood like a monument of silence: cold marble floors, spotless glass walls, and not a hint of warmth in sight. It belonged to Adrian Cole, 32, the youngest self-made billionaire in the city. To the world, he was ruthless, a man who could buy empires, crush rivals, and never blink an eye doing it. But behind the boardroom armor, Adrian was lonely. Ever since the scandal that destroyed his family years ago, a betrayal by someone he once trusted, Adrian stopped believing in sincerity. He stopped believing in people. He filled his life with meetings, contracts, and luxury, but no laughter, no love, no peace. That's when she arrived. Lina Evans, 24, quiet and shy, had joined the mansion staff 3 months ago. She was unlike anyone Adrian had ever met. She never tried to talk to him unless necessary, never looked him directly in the eyes, and yet, she did her work with a kind of quiet devotion that felt almost sacred. Every morning, she left fresh flowers in his office, even though she knew he'd never notice. Every night, she tidied the rooms long after everyone else had gone. She didn't know it, but the security cameras caught her whispering small prayers for the man she served, hoping that he'd find peace someday. One evening, after a long day of corporate chaos, Adrian returned to his penthouse wing and found her quietly cleaning near his study. Her eyes darted away instantly, and her hands trembled slightly as she apologized for being there late. Something about her silence irritated him. Why doesn't she ever look at me? Why does she seem afraid, or is it pity? A strange curiosity began to grow inside him, one he didn't like. So, one night, he decided to test her. Adrian dismissed the rest of the staff early. Only Lina was left to tidy his room. He told her he wasn't feeling well and wanted to rest early. Then, as she quietly entered to finish her work, he lay down on the couch, pretending to fall asleep. The lights were dim, the air heavy with silence. He expected her to just finish her work and leave. But instead, something unexpected happened. Lina approached him slowly. Her hands were gentle as she adjusted the blanket that had fallen from his shoulder. She looked at his face, really looked at it, for the first time. Her eyes softened. And then, she whispered something so quiet that Adrian almost thought he imagined it. Greater than, "You always look so tired, I hope someday someone helps you rest for real." He felt her brush a strand of hair from his forehead, careful not to wake him. Then she placed something beside him, a small folded paper with a drawing of a sunflower. When she walked out, Adrian opened his eyes. He couldn't move. He couldn't breathe. No one had touched him with kindness in years. He picked up the paper. It read, "Even the coldest night ends with the sunrise." For the first time in years, Adrian didn't feel empty. But he also didn't understand what was happening to him. Chapter 2: When the Walls Begin to Fall. The next morning, Adrian couldn't focus. Every meeting felt like noise. Every word his assistant said floated past him like wind. His mind kept returning to that whispered voice, those gentle hands, that sunflower. He started noticing things he never did before: how Lina always wore slightly worn-out shoes, how she skipped her lunch breaks to finish others' tasks, how she smiled faintly at the flowers she arranged even when no one was watching. A man who'd spent his life measuring people by profit was suddenly measuring moments by kindness. Days turned into weeks. Adrian found excuses to be around her, dropping a pen when she cleaned the study, asking questions about the decor, or pretending to be on calls just to watch how she worked. And yet, she never once crossed the line. Never sought attention. She was invisible to everyone but him. Then one stormy night, everything changed. Lina slipped and fell while carrying laundry down the marble stairs. Adrian, who happened to return home early, found her on the floor, clutching her ankle in pain. He rushed to her side before he could think. For the first time, she looked straight into his eyes. He saw fear, embarrassment, and something else, loneliness. "I'm sorry, sir," she stammered. "I'll be fine, please don't tell the supervisor." Adrian froze. No one had ever apologized to him like that, out of fear of losing a job, not respect. Something inside him broke. He helped her sit up and said quietly, "You don't have to be afraid of me, Lina." She looked shocked. "You're not angry?" "No," he said softly. "I'm sorry." The next days, Adrian ordered her to rest, insisting she stay home with paid leave. But Lina refused, she couldn't afford it. That's when Adrian realized just how hard her life had been. He started asking questions, gently this time. Her parents had passed away, she worked 2 jobs to support her younger brother's college fees. She'd never been to a fancy restaurant, never taken a day off, never believed she deserved anything more than survival. And yet, she still smiled. She still prayed for others. That night, Adrian sat alone in his office, staring at the sunflower drawing again. He realized something: she wasn't shy because she was afraid of him. She was shy because she'd spent her whole life being unseen. So he made a silent decision. The next morning, when Lina entered the study to clean, she found the same sunflower drawing framed on his desk. Her eyes widened. "You kept this?" He looked at her with a smile, the first real one in years. "I didn't just keep it," he said. "I learned from it." From that day onward, Adrian began to change, not because of wealth or guilt, but because of her. He started treating his staff differently, supporting charities, and spending time listening rather than commanding. The mansion slowly filled with life, laughter, and light again. And one quiet evening, as Lina stood by the window watching the sunset, Adrian walked beside her and said softly, "Greater than, you once said the coldest night ends with the sunrise. I think, you were my sunrise." Lina's eyes filled with tears. She didn't need grand gestures. Just those words. For the first time in years, 2 broken souls found peace, not in riches, but in seeing each other fully.